Kids TV.
The remarkable race, Remy, the rabbit, and Tilly, the turtle. In a land where the trees whispered secrets and the meadow danced with the breeze, there lived two extraordinary friends, Remy, the rabbit, and Tilly, the turtle. Their friendship was curious thing. One was known for his lightning speed, while the other was celebrated for her unwavering determination. One bright morning, as the sun stretched its golden rays across the horizon, the animals of Meadowville gathered at the heart of Meadow. The word had spread like wildfire. Remy and Tilly were about to have a race that would go down in the history. The meadow was buzzing with excitement, a symphony of drip roars and giggles. Birds chirped on branches, squirrel peeked from the treetops, and even a wise old owl named Oliver settled in ready to narrate the grand event. As Oliver cleared his throat, the animals hushed and leaned in, their eyes twinkling with anticipation. Ladies and gentlemen, creatures of all kinds, Oliver's voice echoed. Today we have gathered to witness a race of lifetime. On one side we have Remy, the rabbit, known for his speed that would rival the wind itself. On the other side we have Tilly, the turtle, celebrated for his patience and never give up attitude. The animals nodded in agreement, their eyes shifting between the two competitors. The rules are simple, Oliver continued. The race will be from this very spot to the grand oak tree at the edge of the meadow. Remy will have to use all his speed, while Tilly will rely on her perseverance. But remember, speed is not the only measure of success. With the rules set, Remy and Tilly took their position at the starting line. Remy's paws twitched with the excitement, ready to dart forward, while Tilly blinked calmly, focused on the journey ahead. Ready, set, go! Oliver's voice boomed, and off they went. Remy shot forward like a streak of lightning, his swerve fluttering in the wind. The spectator gasped, amazed at his speed. He was a blur of fur and energy, leaving a trail of dust behind. The crowd cheered him on their excitement, growing their each leap he took. Tilly, on the other hand, began her race with a slow, deliberate pace. She knew she could not match the Remy's speed, but her heart was as steady as her steps. She looked around, taking in the beauty of meadow, her eyes twinkling with the determination. As Remy raced ahead, he could not help but feel a surge of confidence. This race is mine, he thought. Tilly does not stand a chance. But the sun moved across the sky. The Remy's energy began to wane. He realized that the meadow was much bigger than he had imagined, and exhaustion began to creep in. Meanwhile, Tilly continued her journey step by steady step, her shield glistening in the sunlight, and her eyes shone with a quiet determination. She passed flowers, greeted butterflies, and even paused to help a struggling beetle on her way. As the day wore on, Remy's speed began to falter. His breath grew heavy, and his once confident step turned into weary hope. He looked around searching for the grand oak tree, but it seemed so far away. Tilly, however, pressed on her slow pace and carried her closer and closer to the finish line. She had not faltered, had not given up. Her steady determination was driving force. The animal along the road began to notice Tilly's progress. They cheered her on, their voice ringing through the meadows. Go, Tilly, go! Go, Tilly, go! They chanted, inspired by her unwavering spirit. As the sun began to set, the finish line came into view. Tilly's heart swelled with a mix of exhaustion and excitement. She was almost there, almost at the grand oak tree. Remy, feeling a renewed surge of energy, pushed himself to his limits. His straight legs carried him forward, and with one last burst of speed, he saw the finish line in the distance. In herd, stopping finally, Remy and Tilly crossed the finish line simultaneously. The meadow erupted into cheers and applause. Keep it up. The animals celebrated not only the sweetness of Remy but also the perseverance of Tilly. Oliver, the voice eye, fluttered down and perched on nearby branch. Ladies and gentlemen, creature of all kinds, he began today. We witnessed a race that taught us that success comes in many forms. Remy's speeds and Tilly's determination both brought them to the finish line, hand in hand. The animals nodded their hearts filled with the warmth of lesson they had learned. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Remy and Tilly stood side by side, catching their breath. They exchanged smiles, a silent acknowledgement of each other's strengths. From that day on, the animals of Meadowvale understood that beginning swift like Remy was wonderful, but having the patience and persistency of Tilly was equally remarkable. And so, the legend of remarkable race between the rabbit and the turtle became cherished story, passed down through generation, a tale of friendship, determination, and the beauty of embracing one another's unique quality.